Hello, my love. Today's practice, we're going to work with the kidney meridian. But to begin, you can take some Cypress or Rosemary and place it on lung 1. So if you were to place your hand on the front of your shoulder, there's a bone at the front of the shoulder. There's a little process, a ditch, a divot just underneath that area, that bony place. You can also swap your hands if that feels better so that they crisscross. And remember, we're not looking for an exact point. So if you want to rub a little bit of oil around the area and then just hold your fingers in that place, that's also fine. We're just going to breathe here. See if you notice any changes in your body. Does anything shift for you? This acupoint is one that actually opens up the diaphragm muscle. It allows for deeper breathing, deeper breaths. And we want to move energy in this area. A lot of the times when we're in fight, flight, or freeze, when we're in fear, we can have a lot of energy stuck in or pent up around the hip flexors, which then ultimately have a direct impact on the diaphragm muscle as well. So we're just breathing here. Noticing if there's any relaxation in through the diaphragm muscle. And then also this will relate to the lungs, the heart space, also helping us to move any stagnated grief. So remember, everything is connected, right? So as we move from one thing to the next, you may over time experience that there's movement of chi. And you can release that whenever you're ready. So for today's practice, we're going to need a blanket, a couple of blocks, a bolster. Remember, you can use cushions that are around your home. I like to put a blanket down first because we're going to be lying flat on our backs with the intention of setting a really, really beautiful intention for this practice. So you're going to lie down in Shavasana, your feet naturally falling out to the sides, your hands resting by your hips, palms open. And just notice how your body is feeling here. Notice how the breath is moving in and out through the nose. Maybe you can track the breath as it enters in through the nose. Where does it go? Does it land in the chest or does it make its way through to the belly? We're just noticing for now. Begin to breathe deeper into the belly. Puffing the belly out on the inhale and then drawing it back towards the spine as you exhale. And draw the right foot onto the ground. So you're going to bend the right knee and place the right foot on the mat. Place your arms into a cactus position, palms facing up, and start to windscreen wiper that right knee in and out a little bit. Now, how far you go is completely up to you. And then gently drape your knees over to the left, taking a twist over to the right. So for some, having the left leg long is comfortable. For me, I like to bend the left knee, which takes the pressure off my lower back and my hips. So I have both knees bent as I find my twist. And if you want to bring some movement in, you may want to windscreen wipers, both legs. And you open the knees out to the right and then fold them back down to twist to the left. And you can continue doing this once or twice, bringing some movement in through the lower back, the kidney area, in through the hips. Your gaze, if comfortable, is over through to the right, or gaze straight ahead, straight up. Come back through center. And then prepare for the other side. This time, right leg long, left knee bent with the left foot on the floor. Drape the left knee now across to the right side. Option to bend the right leg, so both legs are bent. Gentle twist over to the right. And then the head gazes over the left shoulder if that feels comfortable. And so you're constantly going to be moving here, with that left foot grounded as you windscreen wiper it over to the left, bringing some movement in through the pelvic area, almost rolling the lower back along the ground. Bringing some gentle movement in through to the spine. Using the weight of your legs to gently open up through the lower back and to twist in through the belly and the chest area. Remember to breathe deeply, allowing the breath to massage the organs. Come back through center. Place both feet on the ground. Bend the knees. Interlace your hands behind your lower skull. Your feet are hip distance apart. Lengthen through the lower back, and then curl your head, neck and shoulders up so that the chin tucks in towards the chest and you find yourself in a little curl. Squeezing through the abdominals, holding and releasing. And then breathing in, arch your spine. Breathing out, you're going to roll the torso up again, tucking the tailbone under, bringing the head and shoulders up into a curl. So it's as if you're doing a cat-cow, with the cat stretch arching through the spine, tilting the pelvis, opening up through the heart space and the chest, and then breathing out and curling everything in and up for a little crunch curl. Bringing movement in through the pelvic area. Come back through center. Drop your knees to touch. Keep your feet where they are. Allow the sacrum to relax here, release. And then relax into another little mini Shavasana. Bring your attention in through the hips. Notice what you feel. Has anything shifted for you? Anything changed? For the next round of movement practices, draw the right knee into the chest. You can bend the left knee so the foot is on the ground, and then extend through the right leg, holding onto either the right calf, the right ankle, or even the right foot. And the idea here is to stretch through the hamstrings. So ideally you're pressing in through the heel of the right foot. And if you have the capacity to extend that left leg a little bit, whether it's long or just a little bit further away from the heel away from the butt, you can do that. Otherwise, just keep that left knee bent. Intention here to lengthen through the back of the right leg. Stretching through the back of that right leg. So we want to stretch through the hamstrings, and really targeting the kidney meridian here, and the urinary bladder meridian. You may find that there's some stretch through the inner thighs as well. Really beautiful way to open up through these energy channels. Maybe there's a bit of shaking happening in that right leg. Keep breathing through it. every inhale, backing off, and every exhale, you lengthen just a little bit more. Now place a prop over on the outer edge of that right hip, and then extend the right leg out to the right side, still holding on to your right foot, right calf, right ankle. Now really getting into that right inner thigh. Your left hand is long, palm facing up. Again, notice whether or not extending that left leg brings a little bit more stretch through to that left inner groin now. And if you like, you can take your gaze over to the left shoulder or keep it looking straight up to the sky. Keep both feet flexed. You might even feel a little bit of a stretch in through that left front shoulder, the same place that you applied your essential oil. Notice how that left hip wants to roll up. So the intention here is to keep that left hip square and the right leg opened to the right side. Keep breathing. Preparing to bring that right leg back to center. And hug both knees into the chest and switch sides. Now bringing the left knee in and up, the right leg nice and long. Place the prop on the left outer hip. You know where you're going now, so you want to replicate the same movement on the other side, remembering that if it feels comfortable you can extend the right leg long, but if not, just keep it bent with the foot on the ground and the knee pointing up to the sky. First we open up through the back of that left leg, really stretching through the hamstring. Flexing both of your feet, making sure that you're pressing through the heel as much as possible. And then you can open up to the left, opening that left leg out to the side. And the prop is there to support you. It's there to act as a hinge. Really opening up through the inner groins of both the legs. By practicing a sequence that stimulates the kidney meridian and or the kidney organs, we transform fear into wisdom. we act as an support to our nervous system and we cultivate our power. We really want to use this practice to manifest our potential by stimulating these energy channels in such a way that we bolster our willpower. So our meridians connect the organs to the extremities. And so we use the meridians as a superhighway to support the organs and the systems that they function within. You can come out of that side opening pose whenever you feel is right for you. Remember, you don't have to stay in the pose for long if it doesn't feel good for you. If at any point you need to come out, you have to listen to your body and do what's best for you. And drawing both knees into the chest. Coming out of the pose, stretching, pointing and flexing your feet. Removing any props that you have. And preparing to go into the next little sequence. Preparing for Viparita Karani, keeping your legs up against the imaginary wall. Your arms can lift up overhead or simply stay by your sides. If this is quite strenuous for you and you need to move yourself to a wall so that you have the support of the wall, please feel free to do so. This is just such a wonderful way for you to allow any pressure or stagnation from the feet, the ankles, the lower legs to make its way to the hips. The feet directly over the hips. If you want to work a little bit here, you can lift your fingers, reach them up towards your toes, squeezing through the abdominals. Keep the breath flowing, nice, steady, smooth. Holding, squeezing. Remember to come down whenever you feel. Holding. And release. Knees to chest. Circle your feet, your ankles. Roll over to your left side. Extend your left arm long. Bend your knees into your chest. You can keep your bottom leg folded in or extended long. It just depends on how this position feels for you. I like to draw my knees close in towards the chest here, particularly because this next sequence is really about stretching through the hamstring of the right leg. So extend through the right leg again, and then reach your arm, your top arm and your bottom arm towards your foot. That right foot connected in with both hands. I want you to feel what it feels like to curl yourself in towards your knee, rounding through the spine. A sense of folding in on yourself. Extend the bottom leg long and roll onto your belly, keeping your right foot in your right hand. So now you're trying to lie on your belly here, belly to the earth. Legs long. Stretching through that right leg as it reaches towards the right hand. Keep your breath slow, steady, and consistent. Notice how the breath feels as it moves through the belly, with the belly pressing into the earth with every inhale and releasing from the earth with every exhale, even if it's only energetically. There's this sense of being supported. We're really stretching in through the inner and outer thighs here. I find that the more I relax into this pose, the more I roll over onto my right side. So the more flat my belly gets to the ground. And it is a bit awkward and uncomfortable, but we're really using gravity to draw us down to the earth so that we can open up through these energy channels. And coming out of the pose, take your time, there's no rush, but make your way onto your back. Find a mini Shavasana yet again. And we'll try this on the other side. So I just turned to face the camera. You can literally roll over to the other side. If you're looking to face the camera when we do this, just turn yourself so that your head is now where your feet were. Lie on your right side, right arm long. Bring your knees into your chest. You're lying in the fetal position here. And then extend your right leg nice and long, your left leg long, and grab hold of the left leg, the left foot, with both hands curling in on yourself and rolling, rounding through the back. Now remember that if that bottom leg does not feel good, stretched long, lengthened, then you can bend the knee. It's no big deal. The focus here is on the left leg, the back of that left leg. And you're going to prepare now to roll onto your belly, keeping the left foot in the left hand. Use gravity to draw your belly down to the earth, really opening up through that inner left groin. Find whatever comfortable position you can. To yield to gravity here. You really want to allow gravity to draw you down. And you can come out of this pose in the same way you went in. Take your time, there's no rush. Roll onto your back. Mini Shavasana. And draw your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side. And then roll up, rocking up to seated. You can take the blanket away for now. We're looking to do the rest of the practice on the sticky mat. Find a prop, take a seat in Virasana pose, which is to say that your legs are folded underneath you, the prop underneath your sitting bones, just to lift the hips a little bit above the knees. And then we're going to go into a twisting sequence. Right arm lifts up tall, twisting over towards your left. Hook your right hand over your left knee and use that right arm as leverage to twist yourself deeper into the pose on the exhale. So with every inhale you lift and extend, lengthening the spine, and every exhale you twist a little bit deeper. Your head can always follow the twist, which is to say it looks over the left shoulder. Or take your gaze towards the front in the same direction that your knees are pointing, and let your chest twist rather than it being about the neck. And releasing, coming back through to center. Left arm extends long, take a twist over to your right. You're remembering that with every inhale you're lengthening the spine, and every exhale twisting that little bit deeper. Your gaze over that right shoulder. This just takes the twist a little bit higher in through the spine. So you'll notice that if you keep your gaze forward, that the twist stops round about the chest area. So that's available for you here if you need. You'll feel the hips facing forward and the twist in through the abdominals and the chest area. And come out of the twist whenever you're ready. Just find a very, very brief meditation here where you're allowing the body to relax. And prepare now for some movement in the practice. We're going to go into the yang phase of the practice. So whenever you're ready, please find your way into downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Pedal out the feet if you need. Remembering that down dog is about a long spine rather than it is about long legs. So if you need to bend the knees, that's a-okay. Your ears in between your biceps, and you're creating an upside down V shape here. Spread your fingers wide. And then drop your knees down to the ground, untuck the toes, sit back onto your heels. And slowly press yourself into Uttanasana, standing forward fold. You can press into your hands. This is a variation of it. And then rolling up to standing. Step your right foot forward, preparing for Trikonasana, triangle pose. Right foot facing the top of the mat, left foot facing the side of the mat. You may want to grab a prop, a block perhaps, placing it either in front or behind of that right foot. And arms in a T shape, lean your body over to the right, reach your hand for the block, and then press into the block to extend your left arm up towards the sky. So you have this sense of stretching through that right inner thigh, the toes of the right foot active. Your gaze either towards the top hand, or if that feels uncomfortable for the neck, you can gaze down towards your right foot. And the intention here is also to roll the left shoulder back and down so that the shoulders are stacked one on top of the other, really opening up through the chest. And if you're looking for a deeper twist, you can wrap your left arm around your lower back and grab onto the inner right thigh. Using that bind to open up even more through the chest. Trikonasana, triangle pose, creating the triangle through the legs and also the triangle shape with the right hand pressing down towards your shin, the block, or even the ground, creating yet another triangle through the torso and the leg. And then gently coming out of the pose, pressing through the feet to rise up, and then switching over to the opposite side. So right foot now facing the side of the mat, left foot facing the front of the mat, which is now the back of the mat, and finding Trikonasana. So your arms extend nice and long, reach over towards your left and lower down into triangle pose. You have the option here to use a block as you did on the previous side, or you can place your hand on the shin or the ankle bone of the left leg. You can find a bind by wrapping the right arm around the lower back, finding the inner left thigh. Gaze either up to the sky or even down towards the ground. So there's always this tension here of pressing down into the ground to lift up from the ground out and up. There's never this collapsing feeling, right? There's always this extended feeling that comes out of the legs. Your kneecaps lifted up the thighs, your thighs are switched on. Always rooting down. Hyperextension in through the legs, which is to say that you haven't locked
pressing into your feet a lot, especially when you're about to come out of the pose. So pressing down, and then maybe a slight bend through the front knee to press on up. Coming to standing. Find Tadasana pose, mountain pose. Your feet parallel. I like to have a slight gap in the feet, just so that my feet are directly underneath my sitting bones. Palms facing in, spine nice and long. Spread your toes wide, pressing into the balls of the feet. Steady like a mountain. Feel the weight of your body both evenly distributed between left and right foot. Breathing deeply. And we'll find a nice long stance now. Turn your right foot out towards the top of the mat, left foot facing the side of the mat. Bend through the right knee a lot, knee over ankle. And then reach your block in front of your right foot, extending into half moon pose. So you're pressing your right hand down into the block. This is the same action that you had in Trikonasana, right? Where you have this pressing down to open up, rolling through the top shoulder, trying to open up through the chest. And now your top leg, the suspended leg, is long with the foot flexed. Your gaze is down towards the ground to help you with balance. And the intention here is to keep your balance whilst maintaining your breath. Stay with it. If you fall out, come back in. This is really about practicing for falling out of rhythm. You know, this is really about learning how to balance, not only on your mat but in life. So if something takes you out of balance, no big deal. Just go back in balance. You're going to come out of this pose the same way that you went in, slowly and steadily, and then go through to face the other side. Your block now in front of your left foot, bending through the left knee so the knee is on top of the ankle. And then gently, elegantly, gracefully press yourself up into half moon pose. Now it's your right leg that's extended nice and long. Your right foot that's flexed. Again, the intention here is to roll the top shoulder so it's stacked on top of the bottom shoulder. Always using the bottom arm, the bottom hand as leverage to twist open even more. Slow, steady with the breath. Marvin's doing up and down dog here for us too. And come out whenever you're ready. Take your time, there's no rush. Come to standing. Tadasana pose again. Let the energies of that balancing posture regulate through the body. And let's set up for the next mini sequence. Grab a bolster or a cushion. Put your block down on the ground and then rest your bolster on top of it. I'm going to set up for a reclined position here. So scoot your butt on down very, very closely towards the edge of your bolster or your pillow. And then grab blocks if you need for reclined butterfly. So I have limited range in my hips, or I like to limit my range in my hips. So using the blocks as props underneath the tops of my thighs so that my legs don't open too wide to the side, really protecting through the hips. But if this is not an issue for you, then please don't worry about props. Open the knees out to the side, your feet pressing together for reclined butterfly. And the idea here is to have your arms resting to the side, which they feel like they're draped open. The chest really opening up here, chin tucked in, back of the neck nice and long. A beautiful heart opening pose, reclined butterfly. Breath, slow, long. And kidneys, from an organ perspective, carry us through hard times. The lungs purify and let go. And so by being in this reclined butterfly posture, we're letting go, opening up, and allowing the energy that we cultivate within this posture to carry us through hard times. Notice how as you allow yourself to surrender to this pose, gravity draws you deeper into the pose. A beautiful opportunity here to let go completely. Begin to deepen your breath here and come out of the pose, slowly, gently, mindfully extending the legs. And so we have some time here for Shavasana. If you want to stay in this position, keeping the heart opener very present as a part of your Shavasana, then you can stay here. Otherwise, start to remove the props from your mat. And you may even want to take that bolster or a cushion and place it under the knees so that you take any pressure off the lower back. We're going to set up for a really, really juicy Shavasana here. We'll be here close to 10 minutes. So I want you to make sure that you're super comfy, super warm. And take a deep breath out, exhaling, maybe even with a sigh, really letting go of anything that you're holding on to. Relaxing your feet, letting them fall naturally out to the sides. And then tracing from the feet all the way through to the hips. Along the way, letting go very intentionally of any tension your legs may be holding on to. Any tension that's alive in the hip joints and sockets. And your belly relaxed. And your chest relaxed. Shoulders relaxed. Neck, throat, relaxed. Your face, relaxed. Your tongue relaxed. Your lips relaxed. Your whole body is relaxing. Moving your fingers and your toes, bringing life back to your body. Deepening the breath, rolling your wrists and your ankles, and coming to a seated position. Slowly, steady, find a very brief meditation practice here. Just continuing the soft, serene feeling that you've cultivated in your Shavasana. And bringing your hands together at the heart space, bowing your head down ever so slightly, acknowledging that the mind is in service to the heart. And bowing down, hands to the earth. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Thank you for practicing, and may you have the most beautiful evening or day.